On this episode of the O2 Garage, we go a long way north to pick up a very special car, bring it all the way back to Adelaide, to put it into a barn find auction. It's going to be wicked. Alright guys, so we're in Port Augusta, which is about 4 hours north of Adelaide, and this is actually where I work for a living, up here, and I found a very special car at the wreckers up here. There's apparently less than 15 of these cars still registered right-hand drive in the world. Now it is absolutely nothing what you're going to expect to see when I show you this thing, but we are going to be picking this vehicle up this week in this episode, taking it all the way back to Adelaide, because you remember last year Thomas had an FJ40 in the barn find auction. Do you remember this?
Right, we're going to see who's seen it. Here we go, with Adelaide Toyota. Here we go, it's a EP2. Here we go, guess what? Sorry, I haven't seen it in front of people. Here we go,
Well, we're doing that again this year, and this weekend we've got the barn find auction on again, and at the 11th hour we found a car that we think is suitable, so we're going to chuck it in the auction, roll the dice, see what happens, and with any luck make a bit of money. So let's go and see what we're taking to the auction. It's just up here. Alright, barn find location number 1. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, we better have a look at these. Okay, so I've got an interesting one behind me. I reckon I might have found a car. It appears to be an early model Audi. I think it's an Audi 90. All looks pretty complete. Let's have a bit of a look at it. We might be able to get this one. Well, I'll tell you what, it's got a whole lot of patina. The glass is all intact. It looks pretty straight. Let's have a bit of a look inside. Oh, no, there's a door I want to open. Come on, Mr. Door. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Have a look at this thing here. Yeah, right. That's a mess. But that's exactly what we needed. Hubcap on one side at the front. Let's have a bit of a look underneath here. Oh, wow. 4-cylinder motor transaxle up the front. Well, it doesn't look too bad. Lots of patina on the body. And it's got this cool stripe thing that goes down the side of it. I don't know if that means anything or not. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's into Audis, who likes their Audis. Alright guys, well I have got a very special announcement before we pick up our barn find auction car, and that is that we've got a brand new sponsor for the O2 Garage heading into season 4, and that is U-Haul Trailers Australia. Have come on board and decided they wanted to support the show, give us trailers to use like this fantastic car trailer here. It's braked, it's got a winch, it's got everything maintained, and of course you can have one-way hire, you can have return hire. They've got a really easy website to use, so make sure you check that one out, and we're about to put it to good use. Let's get our car. Now last time we were up here we decided that we had a couple of cars that we possibly could use, but we actually ended up taking the one that's third back down there. So right now let's pull these cars out, let's drag that one out, let's get it on the trailer, strap it down, head towards Adelaide, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this very special 1969 Audi. Some other cool ones here too.
Right here, baby.
Okay, so this is how quickly things can change with the COVID-19. In just a couple of hours after picking up the car from the yard, South Australia's just gone into major lockdown for the next 6 days, which means the car show this weekend and the barn find auction at the Adelaide Auto Expo has been cancelled and postponed to late in January. I find myself, 400 kilometres north of where I need to be, and I've got to be home by midnight tonight, and it's late in the afternoon, so I've got to pull my finger out, get from here down to Adelaide to our house where the O2 Garage is, get this thing off and get it stored, and it looks like it's going to be with me for a couple of weeks before they reschedule when the show's going to be. Actually a couple of months. It's an adventure. Yesterday was pretty full on, to say the least. I sort of had about 300-400 Ks I had to cover when I started that video, and there were 2 major car accidents on the way back. Adelaide actually went into a 6-day full-on lockdown yesterday. It was announced by the government, and we only had not all that long, probably 6 hours to get from up the top down the back, and it took me a huge amount of time to get back, but I got back safely, which was all right. The Audi's here, and I've been looking at it, and the more I look at it, the more I realise that it's actually not in too bad nick for its age. Yeah, it needs everything done, but I can't help but think that maybe we need to play around with it a little bit, especially on the visual side of things, and bring it up to a higher standard, so if we do sell it, then we're going to get a better return. It's kind of cool. right now you're all probably going, wow, that is one of the dodgiest things I've ever seen. And the reality of it is, yes, it is. Have a look how dodgy it looks. It's got one nut holding it on. But when you think about it, all we have to do is get it back down here on the flat. So it's only going to travel, what, 10 meters. So I would call that a win. Okay, so the Audi has landed. It's here at the O2 garage now, and it's ready for things to begin. Now, this car was originally designed and bought to go to the barn find auction at the Adelaide Auto Expo, but because of the recent lockdown with COVID in South Australia, that's actually been postponed for nearly close to 60 days. So on the basis of that, I just cannot have this car taking up space around the O2 garage. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it out. Now, interestingly enough, this particular car is a very, very rare Audi. There's actually not many of them left, not only here in Australia, but around the world. In Australia, when this was originally brought out in 1969, there was only 368 right-hand drive versions made. Now, this one here seems to have been sold out of Perth, and at some stage made the trek across the Nullarbor Plains to its final resting place in the mid-north. Now, after a bit of research and people reaching out to me and asking me if I did indeed have this, there appears to be only about 12 to 13 left registered right-hand drive in the world. So South Africa, UK, Australia, Canada, places or wherever they would be. I know there's a few in the US, but I think they're left-hand drive. So this one here is quite rare. Now, is it rare to sell it in parts, or is it rare to sell it as a whole car? I'm not a wrecking yard, I've never been a wrecking yard. So what I think I'll do is I think I will sell it as a complete car, and there's a few people already interested in it. Now, we got into it very, very cheaply, super cheap. I won't tell you how cheap we got into it really cheaply. But between the getting it down to Adelaide and getting it here and everything else in between, I want to make sure that we at least recover our money on it, and if we can make some more, that'd be great. But I think because it's so straight and the blue paint is actually pretty good, what I think I might do is just wash it, clean it, give what paint is left a polish, give the chrome work a polish, put 4 tyres on it, get those tyres blacked, get it looking back to some sort of respectable condition. Inside I'm going to trim up all the headlining, I'll brush everything out, I'll put everything back as to how it should be, and with any luck, once that's done, it should be a very saleable proposition, and I'm hoping we can get some decent money for it. So no time like the present, let's get straight into it. We'll get it up here in the carport, we won't take it up into the garage, and we will just crack on with it. Yeah, I love it. Last bit of the car to sort out is going to be this bit, which is the engine bay, and as you can see, it's seen better days. But this is a bizarre car, this Audi, I tell you. It's got all sorts of crazy stuff. It's got inboard brakes, it's got a Mercedes-Benz sourced motor, 4-cylinder motor. It's got some sort of transaxle that looks very Volkswagen-esque. I'm not 100% sure if it is or it isn't. The rear suspension's got Volkswagen swing arms on it, so it's a really weird mismatch of European stuff from the 60s. But I think what I'll do here is I'm just going to do what I did with the rest of the car, just give it a bit of a gentle hose down. And there you have it, the Audi's finished. Now it's got a brand new set of rims on it, well, second-hand rims. We went to U-Pull-It and we found a set of Subaru Leone wagon rims, 4x125, massive PCD with a huge centerboard, 95mm. So we really lucked out and they had pumped up tyres. Tyres haven't much tread, but they're just for transport. It looks pretty cool, doesn't it? So it's going to make somebody a really cool rat rod. We're going to put it up for sale at the moment, flip it out, get it gone. We're not going to do any more with it. We saved it, we recycled it, we cleaned it up and put it out the door. And it's gone, just like that. Put it up on the internet and obviously people knew what it was straight away. We put it up at a pretty good price as well, just to cover our costs, and bang, gone out the door. So another project of the O2 garage is done. So I'd like to say big thanks obviously to the guys at U-Haul Trailers Australia. They've come on board as a sponsor. We're gonna see and use them a hell of a lot in the future, moving cars around. And yeah, now we've got to go and find ourselves another project. Or should I take a break? Or should I fix up the Daihatsu? Or maybe I should do the Mirage.
Ready to get funky.
What, did you think that would be it? That we wouldn't have a car for the auction? Come on guys, you should know me a little bit better than that. I think I've already bought one. In fact, I know I have. And it's just up there.